Hello FIGGIE fiends and collectors, this is me, Daniel East 1000, back again with another Indiana Jones Adventure Series figure review. Today we're going to be having a look at the antagonist from The Last Crusade, none other than Walter Donovan. This is a Hasbro Pulse, or at least over here in the UK, a retailer exclusive. As always, we'll take a look at the packaging first, then the figure itself. As we've come to expect, you've got that windowless style packaging with the CGI mock-up of the figure, of which I'm not really much of a fan of. I would much prefer to see the figure itself. But you've got Indiana Jones Adventure Series at the top there. Nice sort of stylistic drawn image of the character. Walter Donovan, name of the character of course. Bit of legal MacGuffle at the bottom and a notation about plastic packaging free. And then if we look to the side of the box, you've got a lovely Indiana Jones Adventure Series logo running down. You've got a picture of Walter Donovan there and his transformation scene towards the end of the film. Also, notation about the plastic packaging free again, of which we've all come to know and love. And on the other side, if we have a look at that, you've got pictures of the other figures that you can pick up, particularly from the Raiders of the Lost Ark wave, but you do have Walter Donovan included there for some reason. Ton of legal MacGuffin, and then if we look on the back, you've got a picture or a CGI render of the figure itself, name of the character, film that it appears in, and also a rundown of all the accessories that it comes with. You've also got some legal MacGuffin at the bottom there, and at the very bottom there as well. So that's the packaging out the way and done with. Pretty standard stuff that we've come to know and love with this line. But let's take a look at the figure itself.
By the personal command of the Fuhrer, secrecy essential to success, eliminate the American conspirators. Germany has declared war on the Jones boys. Losfahren.
So here we have the figure in all its fortune and glory. Straight off the bat, I do want to say that it does reuse some parts from a Star Wars figure, and lots of people when they saw images of this were saying, "It reused parts from General Veers." And yeah, initially it did look like that, but actually having it in hand, this is not the case. The leggies, if we have a look, do have kind of like an Imperial officer kind of look because of the boots and the nature of the trousers. But if we look at General Veers, where a lot of people are saying that it's reused from, they're a bit puffier, that they're not the same. The boots certainly could be reuse, possibly, but I think where the leggies really come from, my favourite blue boy, Grand Admiral Thrawn. So the legs are actually reused from him, which is kind of interesting. They've been coloured to be a little bit more grayer than white. So yeah, that's where some of the reuse comes from. Now in terms of the General Veers figure, because General Veers is played by the same actor that plays Walter Donovan, I thought maybe they would reuse the head sculpt from this, of which is a photoreal head sculpt. If we just remove the helmet. There is General Veers' head, but it's not the same. They have made a new head sculpt for Walter Donovan specifically. I'm supposing that's because for the Star Wars figure they needed to make it a bit smaller to accommodate the helmet. I'm not too sure. But in terms of the Indiana Jones Adventure Series line, they've not really been using photoreal. It's been mostly head sculpts. They've had painted on face application. It's still a really good likeness to Walter Donovan. It's interesting to see them reuse parts from Star Wars figures. I know a lot of the Indiana Jones figures have used ball-jointed knees rather than double-jointed knees. I think this is the first one to re-utilise that, which is kind of weird, but it does still work within the line, and that's fine. I mean, if Hasbro can reuse parts to cut cost, by all means do it, if it's not going to affect the overall aesthetic of the figure, and this doesn't. This really does blend in with the figure quite well. So here we have Walter Donovan. He is, like I said, the main villain from Last Crusade, and this is more so in his outfit towards the end of the film. Towards the start of the film he tends to wear suits.
I know who you are, Mr. Donovan. Your contributions to the museum over the years have been extremely generous.
This is how he appears towards the end. You've got his more kind of like adventurer, explorer look. Interestingly as well, you've got the badge there, of which in the film is a badge with a swastika on. Obviously because Hasbro can't include that with a figure, then it's understandable why they've left that off and left it omitted, but they have sort of put a badge there to kind of represent that, I suppose. Just having a look at the suit there, you've got the sort of belt going all the way around, the jacket pockets, even the pockets on the lower part there, you've got kind of the shirt poking out from the underneath. There's even little tiny sculpted buttons on the back. You've got the legs, of which we've already spoken about, and the boots as well. which are very, very shiny. So overall, the aesthetic of the figure, the look of the figure is great. It's how he appears in the film. But again, much like the Tuxedo Indy, I think the accessories really do elevate this figure a lot more. I'm loving what Hasbro's doing with this line and the accessories that they're including with the figures. So first and foremost, he comes with the Grail tablet, of which we see at the very start of the film. It doesn't really match in terms of accessory-wise to this sort of look of the figure. He's in a very formal dinner jacket look, but it's a nice inclusion of having the Grail tablet there. Of course, it's very ruined, but you've got some very nice writing on there. I don't know how accurate it would be to the film. It would have been nice if there was a bit more weathering on it, but for what it is, that's good enough for me. So if we go a little bit more scene by scene, run through of the accessories that he comes with. This pistol, of which is a tiny little pea shooter that he uses to shoot Henry Jones to incentivize Indy to go get the Holy Grail.
Dad. Dad. Junior.
No!
Get back! You can't save him when you're dead. The healing power of the Grail is the only thing that can save your father now. It's time to ask yourself what you believe.
Very much how he looks in the film, just pointing it like that. Very, very simple, but looks absolutely fantastic. So he's got the tiny little gun. There's no real storage area to put it on his person, but that's fine. He also comes with the false Grail, of which Elsa Snyder picks out. It's emitting some paint application. There should be some jewels painted on there and on the base of the cup. Interesting to note as well, in the 3¾ inch line of figures that came out a couple of years ago, Elsa Snyder came with that accessory, and it was a lot better painted than this. So it's a shame that they haven't put as much paint application onto that. It would have been nice to have seen some of the jewels on there, but no, they've omitted it. They've just left it as the cup itself. It's still a nice enough inclusion. It's fine. I just really would have liked to have seen a bit more paint application on that, and just a bit more of a bright, vibrant gold than the sort of dulled down one they've used here. But nonetheless, as we know from the film, Walter Donovan takes Elsa's word, takes a drink from it, good old swig, and, well, to recreate that scene, you can pop his head off and switch it out.
What is happening to me?
You have been warned, this is absolutely grotesque.
He chose poorly.
But you can swap it out for the aged look as to how he briefly appears in the film from that absolutely incredible transformation sequence. I think this head sculpt's a fantastic inclusion. You can really get him posed up in the kind of pose that he's in when he's aging up. It's absolutely awesome. I love the inclusion of this. It does sort of incentivise with some of these figures another reason to buy a second copy of the figure, just have it displayed with that. I won't be doing that, but it's just such a cool, fun inclusion. It's absolutely ghastly and terrifying, and I love it. That's what Indy's all about. It's about the weird effects that they put into the film. That's one that really stands out in most people's minds, and I'm really pleased that they've included it with this figure. So if we swap the head back on, that's all the accessories that this figure comes with. 4 accessories in total, which I think is pretty decent. I can't really think of what else they could include with this guy. Doesn't seem fitting just yet to include a actual Holy Grail, because I'm assuming they're going to put that in with maybe a Last Crusade Indy, or even the Grail Knight, of which I think is slated to be released, maybe even Henry Jones, I don't know, but it's going to be cool to see who they include that accessory with. I think he comes with everything that you could really include with a Walter Donovan figure. This was another character that was omitted from the 3¾ inch line, so I'm really pleased that we've now got him in this line. Makes me hopeful that we might see a Colonel Vogel or even Elsa Schneider. So yeah, in terms of articulation, he has a ball-jointed head on a dumbbell. There's also a ball hinge in the neck as well, so you can have him look a little bit down, but the tie's quite limiting, so you can't really do it that far. So he has butterfly joints, ball-jointed shoulders, ball-jointed elbows, ball-jointed wrists. He would probably have articulation in the body there, but it's hindered by the suit that he's wearing. Ball-jointed hips, swivels double hinged knees, of which we've kind of mentioned, ball jointed ankles with the rocker joints. So you can get this guy in some really good poses, the sort of poses that you'd want from this figure. Overall, I'm really, really impressed with this figure, and like I said, overall with the line as a whole. The accessories are really remaking them, and I hope Hasbro continues to include the amount of accessories that they have been doing with the rest of the figures that are to come. It's nice to see one of the villains from Last Crusade make an appearance finally in figure form, because we've never had a Walter Donovan figure yet, and nice to see that they've got him out the gate as soon as they have done. I think it's really leaving them the opportunity to do the more iconic characters later on down the line, really trying to make you invest in the figure line itself. I'm really hoping it's going to work in Hasbro's favour. And that's quite a rare thing for me to say, to be honest, bigging Hasbro up in that way, but I'm really enjoying this figure line. I think it's such a fun collectible line. Star Wars Black Series, again, can really take note from the accessories that they're including with these figures, because there's some really scene-specific stuff. It speaks to me as a collector. That's Walter Donovan. He's probably not one that you're going to instantly rush out to get, but if you do like Last Crusade, this is going to be one that you're going to want to get in preparation for the other figures that are to come. So that's my review of him. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And while this is me, Daniel Eastman Found, sign out, and thank you very much for watching.